Hey guys, so I thought I'd just give you a quick overview of a pedal board that I just completed with the Mastermind LT MIDI controller from RJM Technologies, their mini Effects Gizmo, true bypass MIDI controlled looper, range of drive pedals, and the ever popular Strymon, Timeline, and Big Sky. So I'll give you a quick physical overview. We've got the Temple Audio Trio 21 holding everything. Underneath we have Walrus Audio Phoenix powering everything. That gives me the four 300 milliamp outputs I need to control the mini Effects Gizmo, the Mastermind itself, and the two Strymons. We have the Gizmo for all the true bypass looping, and a little bit of I/O over here to get in and out of the board, and a USB port for programming the Mastermind, just to get a little easier access. I seem to have stripped the screw out of the plate on the Temple Audio. Is a really short, tiny screw. Is something I'm going to have to fortify, so if you're planning on using this board, just be aware that the screw that holds that in is super short and only has maybe 3 threads of engagement there, so that's something I'm going to have to sort out. Alright, so as far as signal path, signal comes into the side of the board, into the JHS compressor, which is kind of an always on for me. From the compressor, it goes to the input of the bypass looper. The bypass looper has 5 loops in it, which correspond to the 5 pedals you see from right to left. You have the EP booster, kind of a Morning Glory style blues crab mini pedal here, Ivan STS9, Keeley modded, Walrus Audio Mesner, and an Archer. Out of the output of the bypass looper, we come into the Tapestry Audio volume pedal. From the volume pedal into the Strymon Timeline, out of the Timeline into the Big Sky, and from the Big Sky to the amps. So the way I'm controlling this and the way I have this set up is there's quite a few different ways to do this, and there's a lot of how-to videos out there from people who do this much better than I do. So I will leave that to them. You can go look up those videos. Anything, just about anything you find on the Mastermind PBC is relevant to the situation, with a few key differences with audio looping and how that's controlled. The software is treated a little bit differently, and you have to set up the mini Effects Gizmo as a mini device, which is not too problematic. But so there is just a few key differences there, but all of the MIDI is exactly the same. While the song programming, the preset programming is all exactly the same, so you can find a lot of that information out there already. So with the Mastermind, the way it's set up is you have a set list which contains songs, and songs contain presets, which the presets contain the information about what pedals you want active, what presets from the Strymons you want active, or whatever MIDI controlled pedals you're using, what parameters you want pulled up in those presets if you set it up that way. So for instance, I have a song selected called Man of Sorrows, so we have a preset for the verse, preset for the chorus, preset for chorus 2, and so on. It looks like I only have 3 presets programmed for this song. On this first button page, I also have a tap tempo just in case BPM of the song gets changed at the last minute, or the drummer turns off the click and we end up going rogue. I can tap in to land on wherever we end up and be on our way. I'm not locked into the tempo that is programmed in for that song or that preset, which is a really great feature because you can just pull up a preset and your timeline's already in sync, and you don't have to worry about doing the tap dance to the time of the song to get your delay repeats to line up correctly. So as far as setting up these presets, it's pretty straightforward the way I have it set up. You can do all this in the software, but I wanted to be able to do it on the fly as much as possible. So once I pick the song that I want, so I've got this external switch I can use to bank between the different songs. Once I'm on a song, I can choose a preset, and let's say I want to program this preset. So I can use this function button to go to the next button page, which is my drives page. And here with these 5 buttons, I can pull any or all of the 5 drive pedals in and out of the loop as I see fit. So let's say for this intro for this song, I want the EP boost and I want the Mesner. And if I like that for this intro, then I can press and hold to store that. And you can also see you've got these little indicators here showing what drives are active at any time. Moving on to the next button page is a page I have set up specifically to control the Big Sky. So I'm using a combination of MIDI PC commands to select presets in the Strymon, as well as MIDI CC commands to pick different levels of decay and mix to be stored into the preset for this song. So the way I have that set up is I have a bank up and a bank down. So I'm just banking up and down through the presets that I have in here. So I just picked a couple of different engines that I find that I like. I've got a long way to go with the Big Sky. I just got it in conjunction with this build, so there's a lot of untapped potential there. I'm really looking forward to get into it. So let's say I like this preset that I've called Concert. It's just like a basic room reverb. It's kind of likely going to be a go-to. And once I have that engine called up that I like, and that preset, I set these three buttons up as a button group with the hold function. So the hold functions of these buttons are in a group by themselves, which means if I press and hold, it'll turn the hold function of the other two buttons off. And the way I have this set up is I use these three buttons to pick a level of decay of that preset. So I have short decay, a medium decay, or a long decay. And you can see the delay times changing up here as I go through these. So let's say I'm happy with my medium decay. I can then use these three buttons, which I have set up in another group, to choose mix level. So there's low mix, medium mix, and high mix. And sending these CC commands with the hold functions of these buttons is basically the same as reaching up and grabbing this mix knob and saying, all right, low mix, medium mix, or high mix. And then you can set whatever you want low, medium, and high to be based on the value of that CC command that you program in. And then at this button, as far as moments, so if I press and hold, I'm choosing mix level, but momentary on this button will just bypass the Big Sky. So if I'm happy with the preset that I've selected, I'm happy with my decay time and my mix level, and I can store that into my Mastermind preset. Moving on to a page I have set up to control the timeline. Same as before, I have this page up and page down to bank through the Strymon presets, which I'm using basically just to control which delay engine I want to use. And then once I'm happy with the delay engine, and baked into that I have some just boilerplate, grit and modulation and filter settings. You could control all of these with CC with additional button pages and whatnot. I just have not felt the need to get into that level of control. I'm pretty satisfied with just controlling decay and mix on the Big Sky, and then controlling repeats and mix on the timeline, and controlling which engine I pull up. That satisfies my needs. It keeps things simple for me so I don't overcomplicate things, but you could really get into this and get really granular with this if you so desired. Alright, so I've chosen my preset. Let's say I want a tape delay. I have, again, these three buttons in a group to choose my number of repeats. So I have short repeats, medium repeats, and long repeats. And then this button, I have the momentary function of this button, I have toggling between quarter note tap division and dotted eighth division. And then these three are in a group to select mix values, just like on the Big Sky. So if I've picked my preset, I've picked my repeat amount, I want dotted eighth, and I've picked my mix. And if I'm happy with all that, I can store that in. Now every time that I pull up this preset for Lion and the Lamb, it is going to engage these two drive pedals. It's going to pull up the preset, and then it's going to send the CC commands to change the decay and the mix levels that I specified. It's going to pull out the preset for the timeline. It's going to send CC commands to set my repeats, set my division, and set my mix, and it can all be done with a single button press. So this kind of satisfied my desire to be able to get to the sounds that I wanted quickly without a bunch of button pressing, and I can then alter and change those preset sounds on the fly, you know, during practice pretty quickly with just, you know, how I've mapped things out here. So hopefully this gives you some ideas of what's possible with this setup. My goal is to really just get as much functionality in the smallest footprint possible. You can certainly do a lot more with the big brother to this, as far as, like, you know, kill dry and putting stereo pedals within the audio loops, which you can't do with the Mini Effects Gizmo. You can't put stereo pedals into the loops. So I'm just using the internal buffer bypass of the pedals to be able to turn them on and off. So I gave up some functionality there, but I was able to shrink the size of the pedal board down. I saved some money initially, which makes the wife happy, and I'm pretty happy with it. I'm really looking forward to using it a lot more. I've been messing around with it quite a bit here at home. Happened to play bass this morning, so I didn't really get to use it, but I know the time is coming. So I'd love to hear your thoughts about how I could maybe improve this. If you have any questions about how I set this up and why, just hit me up in the comments. I'd love to chat, and hopefully you found this helpful. Thanks.